Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a hot topic that has been buzzing across Zambia, President Hakainde Hichilema's choice of travel. We've all seen the discussions online and heard the debates. Why is the president flying commercial when there is a presidential jet available? Let's break it down and look at the different sides of this story. Not too long ago, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Malambo Haim, addressed this very issue. He made it clear that from the government's perspective, there's absolutely nothing wrong with President Hichilema opting for commercial flights. In fact, he framed it as a strategic and responsible choice. The argument is simple. The president is a servant of the people, and his actions should reflect a commitment to fiscal discipline and practicality. When traveling for state duties, the president's team assesses the most efficient and cost-effective means of transport. Sometimes a commercial flight just makes more sense, especially if the travel aligns with existing routes and schedules. This brings us to the presidential jet itself, the Gulfstream G650. You might remember back in November 2022, President Hichilema announced that the government had initiated the process to sell this aircraft. The goal was to recover the reported $193 million that was spent on its acquisition. This decision was presented as a move to cut down on what the new administration viewed as extravagant spending by the previous government. The idea was to redirect those substantial funds towards more pressing national needs, things like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. So when people ask why the president isn't using the jet, part of the answer lies in this initial commitment to sell it. Using an asset that you've publicly declared for sale can send mixed signals. However, the sale of a specialized, high-value asset like a presidential jet isn't like selling a car. It's a complex international transaction that involves finding the right beer, negotiating a fair price, and navigating a lot of red tape. It's not a quick process, so while the intention to sell was announced, the jet remains in the government's possession. This has led to questions from various stakeholders and opposition figures, like Emmanuel Mwamba, who have pointedly asked why the president continues to fly commercial when the Gulfstream is, for all intents and purposes, sitting idle. From their perspective, the argument is about practicality and security. They suggest that since the jet is still owned by the state, it's more logical to use it. The cost of maintaining and securing the aircraft are ongoing, whether it flies or not. So by not using it, are we actually saving money, or are we just paying for an unused asset while also paying for commercial tickets? This is a valid point. The costs associated with parking, regular maintenance checks, and crew readiness don't just disappear because the plane isn't in the air. Critics argue that using the jet for official travel would be a more efficient use of state resources that are already being spent. Furthermore, there's the security argument. A presidential jet is specifically designed and operated with the highest security protocols in mind. It provides a controlled environment, secure communication lines, and minimizes the head of state's exposure to the general public, which inherently reduces security risks. Flying commercial, on the other hand, involves navigating public airports, standard security checks, and sharing a space with hundreds of other passengers. While presidential security details are incredibly professional and thorough, the environment is inherently less controllable than a private, state-owned aircraft. So critics question whether the choice to fly commercial is potentially compromising on the highest possible level of security for the nation's leader. Minister Haim, however, counters this by emphasizing the president's character. He describes President Hichilema as a practical, down-to-earth leader who isn't swayed by the perks and luxuries of office. The choice to fly commercial is portrayed as a reflection of his personal ethos and his commitment to the New Dawn government's philosophy of servant leadership. It's a symbolic gesture. By boarding a commercial flight, the president is visibly demonstrating a break from past practices and showing the Zambian people that he is conscious of public spending. This act in itself is a powerful political statement intended to build trust and show that the leadership is sharing in the need for national austerity. So we have two very different viewpoints. One side sees the use of commercial flights as a prudent, symbolic, and fiscally responsible act of a servant leader. The other side sees it as an inefficient use of an existing state asset that potentially incurs double costs and presents unnecessary security risks. Both sides, in their own way, are arguing for what they believe is in the best interest of the nation. It's a classic debate between symbolism and pragmatism. Now, let us widen the lens a bit and connect this to Zambia's broader foreign policy and international relationships, because these things are often intertwined. The president's international travel is crucial for diplomacy and securing investment for Zambia. And on that front, the government is pointing to some significant successes. Minister Haim highlighted Zambia's thriving relationship with the United States as a prime example. This isn't just diplomatic talk, it's backed by tangible commitments. Recently, it was announced that the United States, through initiatives like PEPFAR, is set to invest a massive $1.5 billion into Zambia's health sector. This is a monumental investment that will have a direct impact on the lives of ordinary Zambians. It means more funding for hospitals and clinics, better access to medicines, and stronger programs to combat diseases. This kind of partnership doesn't just happen. It's the result of sustained diplomatic engagement, which involves the head of state and his team traveling to meet with international partners, build trust, and make the case for investing in Zambia. So when we talk about the president's travel, whether it's by commercial flight or presidential jet, the ultimate goal is to foster these kinds of beneficial relationships. The government's position is that the method of travel is secondary to the results achieved. If flying commercial helps to project an image of a responsible and trustworthy government, and that image in turn helps to unlock billions of dollars in investment and aid, then from their viewpoint, it's a strategy that's clearly working. They would argue that the positive outcomes, like the massive U.S. investment, far outweigh any debate over the logistics of the president's flight schedule. This is a testament to the idea that in international relations, perception matters. How a country and its leader are perceived on the global stage can influence investment decisions, trade deals, and diplomatic support. The image of a president who is frugal and focused on national development rather than personal comfort can be a very powerful tool in diplomatic negotiations. It signals to partners that any investment made in the country will be managed responsibly. At the end of the day, the debate over the presidential jet is about more than just a plane. It's about leadership style, fiscal priorities, and national symbolism. It encapsulates the core promises of the current administration to do things differently. For many Zambians, the sight of their president on a commercial flight is a refreshing and welcome change, a sign that the government is serious about cutting waste. For others, it's a puzzling choice that raises legitimate questions about efficiency and security. There is no easy answer, and it's clear that there are valid points on both sides of the argument. As citizens, it's important to understand all these different facets. The commitment to sell the jet, the complexities of that sale, the ongoing maintenance costs, the security considerations, the symbolic power of the president's actions, and the tangible results of his diplomatic efforts. This isn't a simple issue of right versus wrong, but a complex balancing act between different priorities. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think the president is making the right choice by flying commercial, sending a powerful message of austerity? Or do you believe it's more practical and secure to use the state-owned presidential jet, since it's available and being maintained anyway? It's a fascinating discussion about the nature of leadership and governance in modern Zambia. We'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below. Let's have a respectful and constructive conversation. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. If you found this analysis helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our future content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.